Okay, so let's just if you have completely finished, then feel free to just direct your attention to the screen because we're gonna look through some of the towers that people presented and hopefully learn some things from each other. So who did this one right here? Okay, so let's take a look at Diana's tower here. So this is the Alcoa building in San Francisco. First of all, was it easy to find dimensions and sort of, or were you just guessing from photos?
I mean, I just made up the height and the number of stories. So
okay. Okay. Well, my first impression is this looks a little skinny than I remember it being.
Yeah, it's pretty skinny.
Yeah. So what's the wrong dimension here then? Is it the height or is it the footprint? I'm looking at a height of, I think the height is reasonable. Well, 400 feet. I think it's probably this. Yeah, so this tower right now is only 40 feet by 20 feet.
Yeah.
So somewhere in there, that sounds more like just one bay of the tower. Now the other, so I'm going to look through your layers right now. We've got, the floor slab doesn't seem to be showing up except for in your outside component. Usually this is the case when you've like put something inside another group, and if the outside group is part of one layer, then it'll just get rid of everything else inside the layer too. So sometimes that's a little tricky to make sure that you're not accidentally nesting layers inside of layers. Section plane, that looks good. Shell and structural. So the structure looks good. It looks like you got perfect application of the components. Technically, you can even go further down into the components on this one because even on a given floor, you have just a repeating set of columns and braces. The one thing you could do in the future is with this tower, just have this be its own component on the outside, and then construct the whole building out of that. And then you can come into this and just edit this piece, right? But it would actually save you quite a bit of time even then. The other thing I'm not so sure about is why there's two things hanging out here. What's going on here? The other direction.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so it's alternating. Cool. That makes sense. Cool. Well, thank you for that. This is Katie, right?
Yeah.
So I actually just saw you working on this one. Let me actually pull up the other world. I saw another world trade too. Who was this? Who did this one? Yep. All right. So you want to talk me through sort of what was challenging, what was sort of nice insight you found to model this?
So it's not like, I don't know, at first I just thought I could just throw up like a 1,400 foot rectangular prism and just turn it, but that's not the case because SketchUp like drags
right.
This is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a struggle. Finding the dimensions was a little bit of a struggle because they have there's like a 60 foot high lobby.
Yeah.
And then on top of that there's like a 135 foot base. Those are the first 20 floors, and then it starts to like kind of pyramid up.
Yeah.
And then like when I looked at construction views of it, it looked like all the structural steel just went straight up, which like isn't possible because it turns.
Yeah.
So there's got to be like one face that is like going like this, and they might have just but they might have just put like structural steel just a little bit like going into the building. So like on mine, one face has structural steel just going straight vertical, and the other ones, if I would just go straight vertical, like the steel would have been off the building.
Yeah. So you're talking about these guys right here, right? These vertical lines.
Yeah. So those are the ones that are straight face to.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the ones that you can't see.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm not so sure about that. When I was working on it with Katie, we just thought that the ones on these surfaces here were just tapered. They would stay. I mean, they would be on the face of the curtain wall, but they would just sort of turn in a little bit.
Like that.
Yeah, they'd be angled in.
Yeah.
But I guess couldn't really tell exactly from the photos either.
Yeah, the construction photos is kind of.
Did you model a core in this
I
tower?
did, yeah. So there's a concrete core that goes
Yeah.
Throughout the building. It's not like as uniform as that, but I know there is.
Yeah, cool. So that's a good thing to add, and that of course can be a component as well, all the way up.
Yeah.
Cool. That looks good. Columns, and yet breaking it up into pieces is good. This moment frame. Oh, that's just the seal. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Do you feel pretty confident with the assignment?
It took me a while.
Yeah, cool. Oh, that's good. A lot of good detail.
Definitely cool.
Cool. All right. And yeah, basically, Katie was getting to the same point. What was one thing I mentioned with you, Katie? I think it was a little bit unclear, like what the size of the top base plate was.
Yeah.
Whether it was exactly within the bounds of the bottom or whether it was a little bit bigger. Doesn't really matter at this point. Who did this one?
That was like
Cool. Yeah. So what was easy? What was hard on this?
This part, the front part,
Mhm.
is pretty easy.
Yeah.
To do once I figured it out. The top columns.
Easy guys?
Yeah, the options are kind of finicky.
Uh-huh.
And then the back.
Yeah.
Making the back.
Yeah. But all you had to make was this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And you think the dimensions are pretty accurate on this?
Probably not as accurate as they should be. I did kind of the same, like, what kind of building, number of stories, and then sort of trying to guess, like, how, I have to slice off the bottom, too.
Yeah.
Guess, like, what each story was, and then I wasn't sure there was, like, a 3-story break in the middle.
Yeah.
It was just open air.
Good that you showed that, though. I mean, that's good at the conceptual stage to show, like, if there's a key moment in the architecture. And many of the architects will want to create a sense of community at like the 50th floor and just leave this huge opening. So that's something to really take point in now in the schematic design, because that's pretty much the first calculation you'll make. I'm guessing that's what are these guys connected to?
I don't know if those are actually connected to anything else. I was playing around with.
Okay. Cool. The individual floors are okay. Awesome. That looks good. Amount of detail. Allison, want to talk us through this one? Mm-hmm.
And then I struggled a little bit with nesting and components and layers with windows.
Mm-hmm. So are there any components in this or no? Okay. Yeah, okay.
Especially, the horizontal ones.
Okay. Do you think they are, in fact, all the same member size in the real building? Cool. Okay, and you've got basically these faces. Is there anything inside of this? Okay. That's good. And this was just a huge arc or a semicircle?
It was like a half circle and it scaled down a little bit. I think to match the actual building, it should have been scaled down more.
Cool. Awesome. A crazy building to walk into. Is this you, Caesar?
Yeah.
Which tower is this? The G now? Okay. Okay, so first of all, let me pull up another G now. This is Mike. Okay, so you guys, right away, there's some disagreement on the slenderness of this tower. I feel like you're right, though. The tower looks more like this in my memory. So first of all, how did you model this?
Yeah. A rectangle, and then I drew the triangles onto it.
Yeah.
And I just like.
Or you just moved individual pieces. Okay. And then when you made the bottom, did you just copy the rest? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is a whole separate. Okay. Cool. What's going on here? Is there actually an atrium in the middle?
Yeah, and that's like a core.
Got a what?
It has a core.
Okay. So every floor is basically the same otherwise then?
Yeah.
Okay. That looks
like there's two different heights, but I didn't know like, the number of floors that were like hotel rooms.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Office space.
Yeah, that's hard to tell from photos sometimes. Cool. This looks solid. Good amount of detail. Do always give a floor a thickness though. Just like guess 1 foot until known otherwise. Any other ones? Bruna? I guess you're the only one that did the Hancock. Want to talk through the design of this or the model?
Yeah, so I didn't really know how to construct it because each part has a separate area. But told me that I could just elevate basically. So I did the first floor plan, and then the very top floor plan, I had the square footage for each of them. And then so I elevated the top one all the way like to the height of the building, and then drew lines connecting. Basically, that created like the shell of it.
Cool. It looks like the X's the diagrid might be on the wrong layer here, or it might just get locked in another one. But sitting with the it's another one of those things where it's like probably inside of the floor layer. So when you get rid of the floors, you're accidentally getting rid of the X's too. But that's fine. Cool. And then let me go back to Michael really quick. So Michael, I was saying that between you and Caesar, the sort of overall shape seems to be a little different.
Yeah.
You have any guesses as to what might be the incorrect dimension on yours?
Well, I kind of just, it was kind of hard for me to figure out what the actual dimensions of the building were, because when I went to the website, it kind of gives you a floor space of what total building takes up.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't sure if they only worked on the tower or if they worked on the entire building because there's an attachment that branches out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just assumed it was the tower by itself because that's all they really were advertising.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just assumed dimensions off of that.
Okay. So the big disagreement here is not the height, but the floor plate size. So Caesar's got it at about 140 by 140. Yours is 36 by 36, which to me sounds small. So if you had a like a square footage per plate that was listed online, then you would do the square root of that, right? And then,
Yeah, that's the thing though. I didn't know if it assumed the whole building length or just the tower component.
I see. Okay. Cool. And you've got a sort of unique lobby area. Nice move there. Was this sort of curtain wall thing hard to model for you, or?
It was at the beginning, but then I kind of got that it kind of just once you get the bottom, like a sheet of it done, you kind of just flip it around and you keep alternating, and then you have to just rotate it, I guess, around the building and kind of just falls into place.
Okay. Cool. Looks consistent. Looks good. Cool. Anybody else have a tower that's sort of in progress or want to share what's going on with it, or? All right. So for today, I guess we can go right into Maststand. So the first question is, does everyone have access to Maststand? So if you have a laptop, do you have Maststand working well? So just go ahead and turn it on. You should you go into MATLAB and then you type in Maststand 2 and then this shows up. Anybody not have it working?